I'm Kyle. This is Mind Beyond Money. And as always, I have with me my co host and brother, Shane.
Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. Today we're recording another episode of our 7 Deadly Sins of Finance. And the one that we're going to tackle today is sloth. Well, what is sloth? It's the not willingness to work or being lazy or procrastinating, in other words.
Pretty self explanatory. It's one of the more straightforward ones why being a sloth might affect you poorly financially, right?
Yeah. I don't even know if there's that much we can talk about. We're definitely going to try.
We're going to try.
Because, in essence, if you're being lazy, you're not getting the things done that you know you should, then you're probably going to have financial setbacks from that. Whether it's in your job, you're not working as hard as you can, or you're putting off studying for school, or what have you.
Yeah, there's lots of different things. I think one thing a lot of people might correlate this to is procrastination. I think a lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people deal with it in different ways.
Guilty, man, for sure.
So we're going to talk a little bit about this, and hopefully we can come up with some solutions to help these problems.
Yeah, so basically we're just going to talk about some solutions because we all know what the problem really is, and I think most of us can just relate to the procrastination. We've even been guilty on our show here. We were trying to do once a week, and then COVID hit, and we both lost a lot of motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Living in different houses, trying to figure that out, and it's been a bit of a struggle for us. But
yeah,
I
think even just the motivation side got to us a bit.
Yeah. We are definitely guilty of that. So we understand, and we're going to try and, make an effort of doing our once a week from now on. But anyways, some solutions, I think, like something that I try and do is I try and use as humans, we definitely have a very social and competitive nature.
Totally, yeah. Right?
So I think if you can leverage that against yourself, basically tricking yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can really see better results. And, good ways to do that is maybe joining groups or having friends that are interested in what you're working in, right?
Yeah. I think just focusing in on the point you made about joining groups, I think there's an absolute wealth of resources out there for almost any aspiration you have, any goals you want to set and achieve. Like, we can relate this to lots of things, but with finance and business, anything you really want to go into, you can find forums and stories and advice, and all from people who have either already done these things and are a fair warning.
Exactly.
And some of the things I might be up against, but also I think there's a positive side of it that, like what you said, you can see these things and you get competitive and social about it. You start talking about it, you amp yourself up.
Yes, you get excited, you bounce ideas off each other, maybe you think of other things that you never thought of because you're talking about it instead of just, staying up in your head. And then there's definitely the competitive side where it's in our nature just to be the best in the room, or at least most of us are like that. And
yeah, you
maybe
want to
not
be good at what
I'm
you
better
do.
than you, but it's just like somebody, say you're investing and you had a group of friends that were investing and you saw somebody made a good stock pick and they, had a 30% return or something on over the course of the year, and they made a couple good picks. You want to replicate that. You probably even want to do better than that, and it kind of makes you want to take a step back and actually just go and do the work to get the results.
Yeah,
right?
Especially with things like this where you can use the competitive side to drive your thoughts more than just the time you directly dedicate to looking into stocks, looking into investments, right? It's on your mind way more when you have friends and people in a community that are all working towards the same goal together, and when you're trying to best the man beside you, right?
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about the internet is that you have access to people that you never even would have had access to before.
Yeah.
It would have just been like, oh, I had to meet this person in person before, but now we can just go online and you can talk to people that you've never met before, and
it takes out the chance of running into the right person that's interested in the same things you are.
Exactly. And it really helps for people that are introverted as well, who don't really want that social,
No, yeah, for sure.
you know.
Makes it easy. It's clean, simple.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many different platforms you can go to. You can go to blogs, there's forums, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's
Yeah,
so many.
totally.
Like so many. And for all different kinds of things, you can even create your own groups or websites or whatever you
Well,
want
and
to do.
that's the other thing you get into too. Becoming a mentor, finding a mentor, right?
Yeah, it's big for sure.
Like, you can find a mentor that will give you a minimal amount of time, but will be substantial in the learning curve of whatever you're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
definitely true. For all things, whether it's, sports or money or
Mm-hmm.
anything that you're trying to achieve. I mean, we're more related to using our minds to make better wealth decisions, but there's lots of different avenues in life where that can help, right?
Yeah, for sure. You can split this off in tons of different ways, which is it's pretty cool. You get to see different things. Another aspect of the sloth that I would like to cover is time management. And when you think about time management, it's a very commonly used term. A lot of people,
It's a commonly misused term, I would say.
yeah, a lot of people throw it on the resume to make them look good.
Yeah.
I think it's a buffer. I think a lot of people believe that they are good at this, but I'm not going to go into people making excuses or saying this or that as to why they are good or bad at time management. I'm just saying that, like, what I want to cover is being self-conscious about your time management.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point, is like just having awareness of what time is really, and like how much faster it'll go by if you go and sit on your phone or you play games or whatever. It flies by.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to do that than putting in the work towards something that you really
Yeah.
want.
So, like, for me, I know I'm bad at clicking on, say, a Facebook video and then clicking on the next one and scrolling through them for hours. And I've come to a point where I realize, anytime I go on Facebook, for the most part, is going to be an investment of time. So make that conscious decision to not pull your phone out.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working on your craft, whatever you're applying this to, and it will go a long way. Learning your own triggers is a huge thing for time management.
Yeah, and social media is a big time drain.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you just wind up feeling worse than you ever did before you went on there.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's probably a decent idea to just even try deleting your account. Maybe not your account, but you can delete
the apps.
Delete the app that, sucks up the most time, and
yeah, just completely move the chance out of it. Take away the variable.
Exactly.
If it's not there to click on, you're not going to click on it.
Yeah. Like you said a little while ago, where you had kind of removed one of your apps, Snapchat or something, and then you're so used to clicking on it.
It was interesting. This is kind of how I came to the light of knowing that I was guilty for this, is that I moved my app from its original place that I've had it in my phone since the day I've had my phone to a different page or a different folder or whatever. And it's amazing how many times I would pull out my phone throughout the day and go and click on this empty box that there's nothing there for me to even participate in. So I think, just trying different things like this, because you could be listening to this and you could think, well, maybe I don't use it as much, or I'm self-conscious enough to know that I don't click on it. I can not waste time, and good and well. But if you just try this small exercise, move your app from where you have it, you might realize that you click on it subconsciously all the time.
Yeah, and it might actually be a good idea to just move them around a little more often, and then you're not clicking on those as much.
Yeah, just kind of just playing with your own mind, really.
Yeah, exactly.
To focus on what you really want to get done.
Yeah. And a little bit of that is, it comes from planning, you know what I mean? And like building those habits. You built the habit of pressing the app over and over and over again, right? Because you open your phone and you go into it. Sometimes we just we don't even have the intent in our mind. to go on Facebook or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and you just pull out your phone and it's already, clicked.
Oh, it's already open. It's already there. Yeah.
And you're like, and like you said, keep watching the videos, and then there's, an hour's gone by.
An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Like,
Whoa. Crazy. Yeah. So I think when you put all these things together, try to find the right groups to motivate you and push you. Try to have these conversations with your friends and in these groups where if you have a question, just ask. A lot of people are willing to reach out if you are.
Oh,
and there's
definitely
almost limitless resources out there for knowledge on whatever it is you may be wanting to do. After that, focus in on your time suckers, your time vampires, and try to consciously eliminate those.
Yeah.
And
mostly through building better habits.
yeah, and eventually you'll form the habit of putting time, effort, and energy into your craft, into whatever it is you're working towards. Maybe it be the side business or hustle, or your full-time business, your studies and education, your finances.
Yeah, doing things around the house.
Very
There's
applicable.
so many things.
Yeah, and for sure, I think a big part of it comes back to planning.
Yeah, and
Just
I think
setting it out.
breaking down, like so many of us are guilty of making monstrous goals, saying we're going to do it, and then not breaking it down, because big goals are only achieved when you break it down into a daily and sometimes even hourly or minutely exercise.
Yeah, I think that's another good point. A lot of people, I think it's a pretty commonly known fact of goals that you got to break it down, macro your goals out a bit. But a big part for me is you can't just do it in one day.
Yeah.
Even going back to the example of me moving my app around, I still went and spent some time here and there, even after I'd clicked the blank space or whatever. I would go and then find the app and slowly take yourself off of it.
Exactly.
It's not an overnight thing. It's a constant strive.
Yeah, and battle, really.
Yeah,
because it is so addicting.
It is. And the best part about this though is that if you are already getting to the point where you're looking for something to help you from the sloth mentality, from this deadly sin, you're already taking the first step. You're already
you're
trying
well on
to
your way
fix it,
because you want to fix it. So
yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, absolutely.